I'm Nicole. I'm a speech pathologist at Cabrini Hospital, and I work with adults in the hospital setting. We see people who have any number of difficulties with communication, speech, or swallowing from any number of different etiologies, so neurological, dementia, mechanical. And this is Rachel, who I had the pleasure of working with and meeting last year during the middle of this second lockdown that we had during the pandemic. So Rachel came to see me. Really, we thought it was a stroke, actually, due to some bilateral facial palsy, and we weren't quite sure. Ultimately ended up that she was diagnosed with what we call Guillain-Barré Syndrome, or GBS, which we call an acute inflammatory demyelinating process. All that means is acute is it's happened quickly and suddenly, and inflammatory is something that's happened to make the connections of the brain swollen. We don't think about how much our face muscles do for us, but it does help us to chew, keep food in, keep liquids in. So that was something that I believe Rachel struggled with early on. And then getting different speech sounds to be really clear. So the P sound, we actually have a lot of force behind it to get that really crisp P sound. So getting the lips nice and crisp. On top of that, with the facial palsy, because what's happening is all those muscles are kind of sagging down. It can be pretty uncomfortable and heavy. So getting some taping and some massage just to help to relax those muscles and to make the feeling not be so unpleasant. And communication in general is something that we take for granted. We do it without thinking about it, and unfortunately when it's taken away, I think that's when we realize how much we do depend on it and how much we do rely on being able to communicate, to talk. When we think about it, we always hear that the ability to communicate us is what separates us from their animals. And I think how many times throughout the day do we communicate our thoughts with loved ones, our thoughts to be able to exchange ideas at work, and to make the community a better place. So the theme for this year's Speech Pathology Australia Week is good communication, better communities. I think we all get better communities through good communication.
Well, last year I saw Nicole for some months. Nicole came to see me when I was first diagnosed in hospital, and I found myself incredibly unwell, and Nicole was really the person who reassured me and gave me hope. Yes, I lost my smile and also the ability to talk, so I felt incredibly disempowered. Losing those two vital elements. Well, actually, Nicole diagnosed my Guillain-Barré syndrome before my specialist, before my neurologist did. So for me, she was the most fundamental of all the care practitioners I came across. So she taught me to massage my face, to get the muscles working again, to keep them sort of alive, while the myelin grew back. She taught me to eat and drink, although I have to say that wasn't as difficult. There's always a way of making one to consume food if you're really determined. But she took away the fear of choking, but the speech was really the big thing, because I found through the loss of speech or having very damaged speech, people treated me quite differently. So that was a bit of a shock, and Nicole was just a miracle worker getting my speech back as quickly and as succinctly and clearly as possible. Look, I did actually value my ability to communicate. It's an important part of my job, and I have to say, though, I didn't really understand what speech pathologists did. I thought they removed stutters and I'd watch the King's Speech, and that was pretty much it. So the awareness of the entire body, of neurological diseases, of the entire face, and I found that really quite inspiring, and it's really opened my eyes to what it is that speech pathology actually is.